everybody, the Dizzy Crafter here with another little tutorial. This is a quick and simple card to do. It can be made even more simpler if we're not going to do the resist techniques, but that's what I wanted to do for this card because I didn't have any red and white snowflake papers. And we're basically making a double Z fold card. I did not come up with this idea. I'd seen it on Crafters TV, which I will link their YouTube channel down below, because if you're new to crafts or like me returning to crafts or even a crafter anyway, the shows they have on there are amazing. Really inspired me to do quite a lot of crafting, and you'll probably see quite a few bits on my channel that I've learnt there, or they've revived my memory of doing an item. So, because I have done these Z fold cards before many moons ago, but I would have never thought of doing these dies in this way. And I really love these Christmas dies. So enough of me waffling on, let's get into the video. I've taken a piece of card bigger than I actually need it, only ever so slightly bigger. And then I've put lots of my snowflakes on an acrylic block. You can do as many snowflakes as you like, but these are the majority of the small snowflakes I've had, and some are from Crafters Companion, some are from what I've got from Amazon. But I'm sure in your stash you've got lots and lots of snowflakes, because I know I have. I just couldn't bother going through them all and getting them all mixed up, so when I have to replace them back. Then you're going to need an embossing stamp pad. I've got this Emboss by Clay my friend gave me. Or you can use a white pigment ink. This one's from Crafters Companion, Spectrum Noir. They'll both give the same effect. And then we're also going to be using a white embossing powder. Of course you can use a clear embossing powder too. It's entirely up to your choice. You don't need to go buying anything that you've not got if you can use this. So the first thing we need to do is take your anti-static bag, and if you've not got one of these, just use some talcum powder, put some in the bottom of a tide or something, and then just you want to rub it all over the card. I'm only really going to concentrate on this half first. And I'm going to actually use the white embossing powder. I just feel it gives a little bit more sharper look. But like I say, you can use a normal like VersaFine or the emboss one. Just going to ink up that stamp. Unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to see this because we're using white on white, but I assure you that there is ink going on. It isn't the easiest to see, even in person. Once we've stamped so much, we're going to just take our embossing powder and just cover that whole of that area up where we think we've got it, and give that a tap, and hopefully you can see some. I can see here I've missed some of the snowflake here, it's not fully done it. I'm not too fussed about that right now. Again here, if you let the heat gun heat up first, then it'll help prevent too much warping going on the card. And we're just going to take this over. Got all that embossed now, and then I'm just going to continue. Once I've done the card, because obviously it is very difficult to see even when I'm stood right on top of it, once it's all embossed, I can go in all these gaps with other ones and do some more embossing on them. So that's what we're going to keep on doing. We've got this page covered now, but I do want to go in these empty spaces, like I said, just to add a few more. So I'm going to take a smaller acrylic block. I've just took two of the snowflakes, two of the smaller ones, and we're just going to go in those little pieces here. So once you're happy with what you've got, I wouldn't say I was 100% happy over like half the bigger snowflakes not actually stamping up, and it seems to be the exact same stamp every time, which is daft because that's a Crafter's Companion one and all the others are all from Amazon, cheap ones, so but hey ho. But what you want to do is take a pigment ink. I'm going to be using Chinese Red from the Harmony collection from Crafter's Companion. You can use whatever, you can use the distressed Tim Holtz ones and stuff, so it's just this is the only red I actually had. And then we're just going to take one of your tools or a brush, whatever that you prefer to use, and I'm just going to go over the whole of the page with it. Don't worry about it going over all them lovely snowflakes you had. I'm just going to take a post-it note so I'm not putting my fingers all over the cardstock. Don't do what I've just done and butt it up to the post-it note. I'm hoping I can blend that line out now. Oh yes. So once you've got your colour down that you want to take a dry cloth. I know I've just used red here, but you could use a multitude of colours. You can use different colours together. You don't have to just do one colour. I just wanted a red background. And you're just going to take the cloth and give it a good rub over. And this will help remove all the ink off them snowflakes you've embossed. Giving that a really good buffing. And that's one of the panels for the card I've done. I think on the next lot, actually, I was going to say I think on the next lot I'd remove that stamp, but it's just going to look a bit odd on the other panels if that's still there, not there. So I'm going to crack on and do the rest of the panels I need, and then we'll come back to the making the actual card. So guys, I decided to redo this one. It wasn't actually anything to do with the stamp as such. What it was, when I was stamping it, I didn't realise the Crafter's Companion stamp is a lot thinner than the other stamps that was on there. So that might be just something to keep an eye on. But as this is made redundant as such, I mean I could use it as long, just as a matte and a layering because you wouldn't notice it as much. But I've got an idea because I'm thinking they still kind of look a bit pink. So I thought if I take a baby wipe and I'm just going to bob a little bit of alcohol on it, and if it comes off, it comes off. I'm not bothered because I'm not using it anyway in the centre. And oh my god, that is actually, it's worked. And I don't feel like it's took any of the ink off the actual paper. I must admit though, on these ones that I've ended up redoing, I did go using my sponge dauber, but then I ran over it with the ink pad. I'm not too precious about the ink pads, so I can easily replace them. But no, I'm actually going to do that on all of these now. Now I've tried it, I think it's proper brightened it up. Oh yes, that's much nicer. I mean, if you're wanting that muted look, then that's great, but I didn't. I really wanted it to pop, and that's why I was actually using the white embossing powder, thinking that would make it pop more. But wow, what a difference that is. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but in person, the white snowflakes are definitely more whiter. I'm just going to go over all of them now. All the pieces I've done. I just can't get over how much difference that actually makes. I'm sure somebody else has come up with doing this as well, but I've never seen it on here. And it was only an afterthought. I didn't even know it was going to work. I thought it might have actually took the ink off the background as well. So, but it hasn't. So I'm really pleased with that. And like I say, all I've got is a baby wipe and some cleanser, what we use for nails, but basically it's just isopropyl alcohol. So I'll just clean my mat up now though. It has took a little bit of the ink on the background on this one though, I feel. So I might end up doing that one. Maybe I went a bit harsh with the alcohol on that one, I don't know. Talking too much. That one's definitely more pink. I'm just going to run over that again with the ink pad, I think. And this is all I did. Really, once I got a base layer down, I just went over with the ink pad. It was just doing me nothing how long it was taking, and I wasn't getting the depth of colour I wanted. Whereas with that I was feeling like I was getting a better depth of colour. And then I'm still going to wipe it off with a dry cloth. I'm not going to do the alcohol on this first. I feel like maybe because the other two had been done longer, maybe the ink had dried more so into the paper. So I am going to leave this panel for a while and then I'll go over with the alcohol wipe, but you can definitely see a difference there. I'll really give it some welly in the centre here. And it's not really coming up much more, but now that's dried it's definitely much brighter. So anyway, let's get on with the rest of the card. Oh, I've just took a piece of A4 cardstock and I've just trimmed it. I've left the width, but I've trimmed it to 18 centimetres. And then we want to be doing, scoring it on the half A4 fold. I'm using the Ultimate, but you can use whatever you want. And then we want to turn it over and then score at the A4 gatefold. And then this is going to be giving us our card. It should give that a good scoring, nice crisp edgings, and then we want to fold that back on itself. I don't know why I chose this size card, guys, I just did. I'm trying to get that. I must have been slightly off, but it's fixable. Just got to keep my hand in place. So we've got the basics of our card now. So that's just going to be the back side of the card. Now I have took a more weightier card and I've left this as A4 because we're going to be die cutting these, and I'm going to be using some of these that's from Crafter's Companion. I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Warm Winter Wishes, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get 2 out of this the way I'm doing it. So if I can get it there and then another one up there, that'd be grand. But what I am going to do is actually put the score lines in, even though when I know when I put through the Gemini, majority of them score lines will be squished back out again, but it'll give me some indication for where I need to be going. So we're just going to use those same score lines again. A4, I thought I'd done the wrong thing then, guys. A4 half fold, flip it over, and then we want A4 gatefold. Fold this over and crease it. Maybe this will give me a better chance of keeping those score lines in. Take the Warm Winter Wishes again, and I'm going to place this directly onto the edge of the cardstock. I'm going to secure it using some tacky tape in a couple of places, and then I'm going to run this through my machine. When I'm putting it through my machine, I'm going to keep it so this bit is hanging. Yeah, I'll turn it that way. So I've got, like, here's my plate, and I'm going to keep that near enough so this doesn't go through twice with the score line. It just helps, I guess, I'm hoping. Always make sure this is the last thing to go through the machine, because it'll get tangled up in the rollers otherwise. So we've got that one to cut out, hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, it did spit it out to begin with, and I just replaced it back in again. And then I want to marry it up, and you can see, like, this score line here has gone. It's slightly there, but it's majority has gone. I need to actually get rid of all the bits in here first. So right, so now we've got rid of all the bits. There is a couple of bits, but nothing too major. We're just going to marry that up into there. We may lose a tiny bit, but it doesn't really matter that much. And then we're just going to run this back through the machine again. Gone through twice now. Just going to peel this off. Going to cut it off here. It's already cut on the other side. And then gently release. Oh yes, you're going to have a bit in the middle here as well, which you just need to manipulate the card. Jesus. And just cut along that line, and that should release very easily. So there we got it, and you just want to be poking out any of the bits that's not come out already, which I'll do that off camera, and then we'll be back. And this is what I was saying, that this is why I kept this as is, because now I can actually do that again and make a second card. And I don't have to Warm Winter Wishes. I could have one of the other sentiments. So I'm glad I actually did it that way, because it saves me some hassle next time. Got the bits out. I know what I need to do now is reaffirm the score lines. So I'm just going to gently fold it over and then use my bone folder. Unfortunately, I have got a slight tear in this paper here. This card's not going as well as I'd have liked, to be honest, but hey ho. And this one is completely disappeared, the fold line. So I'm hoping we can get it back just by using the machine again. Yeah, so I'm just gently going over that into that thing, the groove of the A4 gatefold. I'm thinking maybe using the bone folder that comes with this, just because there is this really thin edge to this one here. So and I really need to get in there in delicate areas. So, and I am being very, very gentle. I'm persuading it very, very carefully, because I don't want any of it to tear. Right, so that goes that way, yes. So now I'm just going to tease that. I can see this little piece here just didn't want to bend, so I'm going to have to manipulate that somewhat. And then I'm just going to go over with the flat of my bone folder. Sorry, I'm totally off camera there, I didn't realise. I'm just going to squidge that down. So there we've got the mechanism to go on the double Z card. Now we've got all the components we need to make the card. We've got the card layer, we've got the card topper, and obviously we've got the backing papers, but I've also done some matting and layering. For this particular card, the gold card is 17 centimetres by 14 centimetres, and then I've cut down the snowflake papers down to 17 centimetres, 13.5 centimetres. That's for the large panel. And then you want 2 of the gold in 7 centimetres by 17 centimetres, and 2 of the snowflakes is 6.5 centimetres and 16.5 centimetres. I mean, of course, yours might be a different size. You may not want to do this size. It's quite nice to do actually with a 6x6 card base. Then it saves all the hassle of cutting out cards. I just wanted a slightly larger card. I'm guessing it's a bit of an unconventional size as well, and I kind of like that it's not the normal size that you get. So we're going to glue all these on and then we'll get cracking. So we've got all the panels put on the card now and the matting layered. Now we could continue and put this topper on first, but I'm feeling it's not quite enough Christmassy. So what I'm just going to do is just going to use some of these Dovecraft glitter glue, and I'm just going to go over some of the snowflakes just to add a little bit of bling and a bit of glitter. I could have actually used a glitter embossing powder, but I never seem to get very much success with that. It's probably me, it's not probably the product. So that's why I chose to go white, but now I am thinking we need a bit of sparkle, so I'm just going to add a bit on there. That's the card all glittered up. All we've got to do now is wait for that to dry, but I do believe that looks much nicer now we've got that glitter going on. I might even put on some fake Swarovskis when we put the sentiment on. So yes, I'll be back in a bit, guys. All of the stickle glue has dried now, and I do feel like this is much better. What do you guys think? I know like it's not exactly straight or anything, but I wasn't that fussed about that. But I really wanted some glitter accents going on. Next thing we need to do is attach our sentiment. We can do it anyway, we can do it at the bottom, we can do it in the middle. Don't really think looks good at the top. I actually really like this in the middle, and that's what we're going to do. So you're basically wanting this to go the opposite way of your card. So you can see here, you've got this kind of Z fold going on here, and then we've got the smaller end going on the big piece, and then the big piece going on the smaller piece, and then that gives you that square in the centre. That's what you're looking. If we did it this way, it's not going to work because it literally is just going to sit in the card, and that's why you're wanting to put it on the opposite ends, if that makes any sense. So you just decide really where you actually want to put it. So I'm just going to use my tacky glue on the edges and place that down. I have tucked the glue in ever so slightly here. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on camera. And I'm literally just going to marry this up to the edge of the card in the positioning I want it, and just hold that in place. Sorry, out of frame again. I will get better at this, hopefully. So we've got that put in place, and we're just going to fold that over and put the adhesive here again. And again, I am going to put the adhesive at the top and the bottom here. Not anything like major, just a centimetre or so in. I'm going to flip the card round, and then we're going to marry up to the edge of that card again. That's the card complete if you like, but I'm going to take it a little bit further, and I'm going to be using some of these gems. I got these many moons ago when I used to do phone cases, and I never actually got rid of them, which I'm so glad I'm not. I didn't. Now I'm crafting again, so unfortunately I will not be able to put any links in for these at all, but I'm just going to go for this colour here. To be honest, majority of these you don't really see the colour. I mean, the darker ones you do, but once they're on the card, these just look like clear because of the way they're coated anyway. So, but if I can find something similar, I will link them down below. And all I'm going to do is just add a few. I didn't put these on before I did this because I don't see the point in putting any behind where the sentiment is, but I'm just going to add a few on where the sentiment isn't, and maybe a couple on the actual sentiment. So I'm just going to take my tacky glue and just blob a little tiny dot of glue in the centre of some of the snowflakes. I may even do all of them that's on the show. I really think that those gems really give that extra specialness to the card, considering how simple it is. I mean, obviously if you use pattern paper, it's going to be so quick to do. I really enjoy watching Crafters TV on YouTube. It gave me so much inspiration. I would never have come up with this idea of using the dies in this way. So yeah, if you're really wanting to get some inspiration, I definitely would recommend watching them. They do 3 videos a day. They do craft alongs, they do make and takes. It's fabulous. I love it. It's really helped me with my crafting. So I hope that you've enjoyed doing this tutorial with me. And what do you think, guys? Do you think the resistors come up okay? I'm pleased that I ended up doing that alcohol with the white thing as well. That's today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.